What is up, everybody? How's it going? My name's Cody, and boy do I have a story for you.
Not saying it's gonna be easy. You see, the grind, it never really is, but it's not meant to be. It's for us, the motivated, the determined, the ones who are building, gaining, and finding strength and self-reliance.
Let's go. Okay, so me and my roommate are currently on a micro vacation, and it is one of those nuances that we kind of realized we could do because we both work remote and we both have jobs that pretty much all you need is Wi-Fi for. So thanks 2020, I guess that's a plus to the whole, everyone working remote thing. But we kind of went on a little micro vacation, and we are actually in a private resort that is beachside, and we picked them because of their cleanliness, their protocols for keeping everyone safe in this moment, and we figured as far as like risk mitigation goes, this was probably about as good as it gets. So we're out here, and it is Saturday. It's a little choppy out there on the ocean, and it's a little overcast, right? But we figured, let's just hang out by the beach. We bought or were given, or we have some lawn chairs, and we have a nice umbrella, and we're just sitting out. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I am just reading, enjoying the sound of the ocean and enjoying my book. And I hear this older gentleman who is out by the water, and he's like, "Hey, this kid needs help." And he's like pointing out into the ocean. And my brain kind of processes it, but then immediately followed, I hear this kid scream, "Help." And that little light in my head goes. Before I realized what was happening, I was like sprinting towards the ocean, and I like dove in, I like popped up, crest out under the wave. I have eyes on this kid, and I'm swimming as fast as I can. I probably busted my my overall 25-meter sprint for swimming, and I'm going out to this kid. Now, a little context: when I was 15 years old, I worked at a Cub Scout camp in Joplin, Missouri, and I was trained as a lifeguard. And so I worked my summers as a lifeguard from 15 up to about 19, and I worked in both pools as well as I oversaw a lake when I was 19. And then after that, I ended up transitioning down and working in the Florida Keys as a first mate on a yacht who took people out for tours on a dive boat, and I worked my way up through the ranks there and ended up as a scuba instructor. So all in all, the water is kind of where I live. The water is like my zone, and I was very well trained. So obviously what happened was my training kicked in, and I was just going. And I called my dad after this. I'm still like shaking, mind you. This has only been maybe 15-20 minutes, so there's still like a lot of adrenaline pumping through me. But he was like, you've had so much training. Of course you went and acted, and you saved this kid. And I told him, I was like, what I appreciate knowing more than anything is there are two types of people in this world. There are the older gentlemen who will point at the kid and say he needs help. And he's talking to the people who work for the resort who aren't trained. Maybe they are, I don't know. They're just workers, And then there are the people like me who are not willing to point. We are going to go and we are going to help. We're going to get out there. We're going to do it. And is it the dumbest thing that I've done probably in a while? Sure, I don't know. I would like to think that my training helps prepare me for situations like that. What I do know is when I finally got to that kid, I'm talking to the kid, hey buddy, it's gonna be okay, you're fine, I've got you, go ahead and flip onto your back, I'm gonna, and I'm talking him through, I'm paying attention to make sure that he's not gonna try to jump on and drown me. Very much, you can't save someone who's gonna try to hurt you, and it's just an unfortunate thing, but I'm taking stock of the moment, and I see his boogie board is still tied to him, and I rip the strap off of his arm so that this boogie board can drift away, but I grab the boogie board so that I have a secondary flotation device. And so I've got this kid under tow, I've got this boogie board, and I'm swimming and I'm kicking, and I get why this kid got stuck, because even with me working as hard as I can, and mind you, I've got a kid under tow, the undercurrent of the wave, so it's crashing and it's pulling back, and as it's pulling back, it's ripping us back, right? So any forward headway that's happening is just being diminished, right? And so I'm like, okay, take stock of the moment. You're not making any headway. You need to start taking the waves. There's a life lesson there, right? Sometimes in life, we're not making headway. We've got to take the waves. I then told this kid, I was like, buddy, I need you to kick with me. Help me kick. Kick. I was like, also, we're going to try to ride these waves. I've got your boogie board. Let's ride these waves. And this kid is probably freaking the fuck out, right? He is panicked. He's exhausted. And he's not really kicking. But all of a sudden, I'm making it a game. I'm telling him to kick, and then all of a sudden, I'm like basically riding the waves. I'm like using this boogie board to like get there, and I'm about 80% of the way in, and two other gentlemen are like all of a sudden right up on me, and there's a female. And all of them are like there to help me. And these are the helpers. These are the people who aren't gonna wait. And they're reaching out for me, and they're like, son, grab my hand. We're gonna help anchor you, because they can tell that I'm struggling to make headway. And I'm really physically fit. I'm strong. I work out daily. I'm trained, and I'm still struggling. So here's another life lesson. Like, sometimes you may be catching the waves, and you may be finally evaluating the moment and adjusting to the undercurrent. Everything might finally be playing out, and you're still gonna need just a little bit of help along the way. I made it all the way to the whitewash. I was standing up. I've got this kid still under tow. I'm not sure if he's like passed out or what's going on in my brain. I'm like prepped to do CPR, right? And I'm like, hey buddy, can you stand up for me? And all of a sudden he like stands up, and we're on the beach, right? It's at that moment that I look over and I see that the lifeguard for this beach has like just gotten their paddleboard. They've just made it to the water, and they've just started to paddle out. They don't even know that I've like made this save. They are like they're like aimlessly wandering, and that's not on them. They probably don't have a protocol for this. Maybe their only certified lifeguard was doing something else. Maybe they weren't actively on the beach. Maybe it was someone else. There's thousands of things, I would assume that it's my responsibility as a swimmer to mitigate risk. And that's not really what, I'm not blaming them. It's an unfortunate circumstance that's response time. But sometimes that's gonna be the response time of the people who are in charge of saving us, right? Sometimes it's not going to work out in a quick time. And so that is why it is so important to be the ones who are willing, ready, and able to take action. If I hadn't have gone through all of that training, I wouldn't be ready to take action. And then I would have had to, live my life watching some kid be in distress, be in help, possibly even pass away, which is terrible. And I would have had to watch that. But I was willing to go out there and get him. Now, I'm not tooting my own horn. I really think there's a lesson in this, and this is why I wanted to share this story, because truly there are people out there who are gonna go after it, and they're going to give it their all, and they're gonna put themselves in dangerous, uncomfortable, and terrible situations for the good of other people. And then there are the people who are going to observe, say, hey, they need help. And I think I'm called for more. I think you're called for more. I think we as a society are called for more. We have to help people. We have to, guys. We have to be ready to put ourselves in compromising situations. We have to be willing to lean into our expertise, our training, and we have to be understanding that sometimes when disaster strikes, we need a little bit of help, even on that last little bit. Guys, I hope that little kiddo doesn't become afraid of the water. I hope that he continues to have a great experience this weekend, and I hope maybe the people on the beach who stood there and pointed, I hope that they realize that they could do so much more. I hope maybe this is a moment for the resort to reevaluate. But some of those things are just not gonna happen. And that's why we have to be ready to go out there, to swim fast, to run faster, to get to the people who need help, to calm them down, to encourage them, to get them to help you save them. And on our way back to safety, on our way back to shore, if the journey's long and we've worked so hard to get there and we need just a little bit of help, we need to be ready to reach out our hand and grab it. So that's my story about water safety on a vacation. People talk about undercurrents all the time, how dangerous they are. It's not a new concept to me. I knew exactly what was happening. It didn't change anything. I was not going to say, wait a second, should I not? No, I was gonna figure it out. And I was gonna figure it out after I had that kid under tow, safe. Guys, I'm circling now, you know, and this story, my thoughts, my everything is just jacked up on adrenaline. And I know this video is going on and on and on. But I want you to truly think about, how are you making the world better? How are you springing into action? How are you helping other people? Guys, I hope you have a great afternoon. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I hope your weekend is full of blessings. I know that in the shittiest of situations, in the most terrible of moments, when someone was in danger, I was able to help. That makes for a great weekend. Guys, I love you. I appreciate you listening to this video. listening to my story, I want to challenge you. Seek out the opportunities to help people. The world needs it right now, more than ever. We can do it. We can make the world better, but we have to be willing to go do it. Love you guys. That's all I've got. I'll see ya.